Okay, we'll call to order the January 6th Moore City Council meeting. Would you call the roll, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Here.
Sid Porter,
Here.
Melissa Hunt,
Here.
Louis Williams,
Here.
Adam Webb,
Here.
Rob Clark,
Here.
Mark Ham.
Here. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 2 is our consent docket.
I make a motion that we approve the consent docket items A through H.
Second.
We've had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, consent docket carries. Item 3 is consider rezoning application number RZ-1047, located in the southeast quarter of Section 3, Township 10 North, Range 3 West, being south of Cass Avenue and east of Shields Boulevard from C3 General Commercial District to C3/PU General Commercial District with permissive use for paintless dent repair, and approve ordinance number 3125. The application is by Richard Montgomery, and the Planning Commission approved this 7-0.
Evening, Mayor and Council. The rezone application is located at 2879 North Hillcrest Avenue. The site consists of one lot totaling approximately .77 acres with an existing single-family dwelling house on the north end of the lot and existing commercial building on the south end of the lot. The applicant is seeking to rezone the property from C3 General Commercial District to C3 PU General Commercial District with a permissive use of automotive equipment light to allow for a paintless dent repair business. Public water and sewer are available to serve the site, access to provide by North Hillcrest Avenue. There's currently no plans to construct new structures on the site. Historically, this northeast section of Moore has seen heavy automotive use dominating the area. The parcel was previously zoned C3 and has been used for the past various construction contracts and businesses. The applicant is not changing the underlying zoning, but asks permissive use to allow light automotive use and paintless dent repair business specifically. The site is shown on the comprehensive plan as a transitional commercial because C3 General Commercial District uses are existing and there are no further encroachment to the neighborhood. An amendment to the comprehensive plan is not required. Much of the surrounding area is currently dominant by automotive use. The applicant is seeking to add a permissive use to the property and not the underlying zoning. The automotive and equipment light use unit classification is required for the proposed use. It is important to note, however, that with the automotive and equipment light use classification, it would allow for uses that classify to be allowed within the site. Other uses within this possible use unit classification include washing, polishing, and light repair of automobiles, as well as tune-up shops, oil changes, and tire and brake repairs. Staff recommendation is approval of the application.
Okay. Are there any questions, council? Anybody here like to speak on this? Nobody signed up.
I had a question. It does have adequate draining for the washings and all that?
So if they did you're talking about like a wash bay for a vehicle?
Yes.
So if they did a wash bay, they have to do some building code and some sewer protection. So the drains would go into a drain. It wouldn't be onto the surface.
Okay, thank you.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
Okay, I've had a motion and a second. Will you call the vote?
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Rob Clark,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item passes. Item 4 is considered the final plat of the Well Church located in the southwest quarter of Section 25, Township 10 North, Range 3 West, being north of Southeast 34th Street and east of Eastern Avenue. Application by the Well Church Oklahoma, Inc., Brian Mullins. The Planning Commission recommended 7-0. This is in Ward 1.
Subject site is currently zoned R1 single-family residential. The final plat is required for the development of a church on a vacant lot, which consists of one lot, approximately 2.9 acres. Public water must be extended from the west side of Southeastern Avenue, and sewer is adjacent to the site along southeastern. Stormwater detention for this development is required and provided for detention pond in the southeast corner of the site. FEMA floodplain floodways are located along the southern and eastern boundary of the site. A drainage study will be needed to conduct for existing FEMA study concluding at the south end of the subject site. Access is proposed from Southeastern Avenue with one driveway access to the site. The plat identifies a 50-foot wide access point. However, the exact location driveway may change during the building permit review process. There are limits of no access shown along Eastern Avenue on either side of the identified access point as a way to help prevent traffic congestion in the area, as well as reduce cross conflicts with the required 10-foot wide utility multi-use trail along Eastern Avenue frontage contained within this plat. Based on the proposed use in compliance with many of the planned goals, staff believes this application meets the intent of neighborhood commercial land use. An amendment to the comprehensive plan is not required. The final plat seeks development of a vacant lot for the Weld Church. As per code, the preliminary plat was waived because the final plat contains one lot. The plat is in general compliance with the city code. City staff recommends approval of the final plat contingent on some contingencies, namely one is consisting of a 10-foot wide multi-use trail along Eastern Avenue.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? Would you call the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries. Item 5 is consider an appeal of a decision by the Community Development Director that a home occupation doing business as Board to the Bone is limited to 4 total animals on the premises at any given time. The application is by Brittany Tumala of Board to the Bone.
Mayor and Council, on October 27th, 2024, a reporting party made a complaint online that was eventually forwarded to me because it was a home occupation and ultimately a zoning issue. Per the home occupation ordinance, the reporting party was required to state in writing what their objections to the business were or are. They stated that there are over 20 dogs per day at this location, that there is traffic congestion, and they included pictures and Facebook posts. But I should note that none of those posts showed 20 dogs at a time. Regular patrols over a period of time to ascertain the traffic patterns and number of dogs were performed. On November 8th, our code enforcement officer performed I'll just call it a stakeout, which basically means he went to the neighborhood and parked for a period of time. He covered the drop-off hours and pickup times. So he was there at 6:45 a.m. to 8 o'clock a.m., and then again from 4:15 p.m. to 5 p.m. He observed a total of 4 different dogs being dropped off from 3 different vehicles. He did not observe or hear any barking, any smells, nor did he experience any traffic congestion in this area during those times. On November 15th, Ms. Tumala was asked to address the stated requirements in city code for home occupation. Her answers are in the packet that you received. After some deliberation and consultation with others, it was determined that doggy daycares should abide by the 4-animal policy. There was a compliance letter issued that was also in your packet for you to review. I'd like to take some time to address the home occupation ordinance. This ordinance was passed in 2021. The purpose was to allow home occupations that don't negatively impact the surrounding residential properties. It does have measurable criteria and standards for making these decisions. I'm not going to go through all of them, but some of them are that it cannot exceed 10% gross floor area, although the outdoor and accessory buildings are not considered part of the dwelling. There should be no offensive noise, odors, etc. beyond the property line, and there should be no pickup or deliveries between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m., so overnight. This home occupation does not violate the standards from what city staff can observe. The ordinance also has a specific complaint process in an effort to eliminate frivolous and retaliatory complaints. There is a policy for a letter to be submitted with the complaint noted. The complaints must be measurable and objective. The reporting party did provide a letter. Her complaints seem to be based off of bored to the bone social media posts. The reporting party does not live near 1713 Southeast 16th Street, and it should be noted that we have not received any complaints from neighbors about the dogs or the home business, and the business has reportedly been operating for several years. In looking at the facts of this case, it may stem from a competing business that wishes to push out competitors, which the council may wish to take into consideration in making its final decision. I do believe that there are people from Board to the Bone here who would like to address the council. If you have any questions of me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Elizabeth before we see from the crowd?
So ultimately, it doesn't violate the home business policy, but it violates the animal control policy. Or the animal control ordinance, correct?
So I'm going to have the attorney, Brian Miller, speak to that, because that was a discussion amongst staff. Is this a zoning issue, or is this an animal control issue? And I think Brian can speak more to that.
In response to that question, the animal control ordinance does have a limit of 4 animals. This, I believe, fell more towards the home occupation ordinance because the complaint needs to be based on one of the complaints causes that we have in the home occupation ordinance. I believe that the intention of the animal ordinance is owning
Right.
4 animals.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
having them at all times.
Right, okay.
I don't think it would make much sense if you came over to my house, I had 4 dogs, you
Right.
brought 2 dogs. I don't think we're in violation
Right.
of the animal control.
That was going to be my next question, was,
That's
okay.
what I was getting at on that.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
I think so, yeah.
Pretty much, okay.
Okay, nobody signed up, but is there anybody here that would like to speak to this? If you would, just state your name and your address, and then you'll be given 5 minutes.
Brittany Tumalaw, and it's 1713 Southeast 16th Street. I applaud you, that was really close on that last name. I couldn't marry Smith or Jones, but, I didn't. The only thing we're running into is we've gone over the home occupation, the codes forward and backward. We're not violating any of them. It's the 4-dog issue. But in the home occupation, it doesn't state you can't have a kennel in your home. That is not one of the excluded occupations that we can have. It does state, however, you can have more than 4 if you are a kennel, which is what we are. And it's already been addressed that we are considered a business. We file taxes as a business, and we have an LLC. So that's what we're running into is the number of dogs. We only have 2. They're rescues. The most we've ever had at one time is 15, and it is typically daycare. Overnighters are here and there, especially this time of year. But it's the 4-dog issue that we're running into. We don't have a lot of noise. We have several neighbors here that have come to say the same thing if you need them. There's not a smell. Everybody that comes in the house says it smells amazing. They can't figure out where it's coming from. It's not me, it's not the dogs. But we clean continuously. We try not to tick off any neighbors. All of our neighbors have known about it. We got their permission. We spoke with everybody, made sure everybody was on board. It's literally just this 4-dog issue. But like was said, that's, I think, if you were to own 4 animals. And then that comes down to, it says animals at any given time, but the code actually doesn't say at any given time. It just says you can't own or keep, I guess, more than 4 animals. And we're not keeping any of them. I chose not to do that. So I don't know if anybody has any questions I can answer.
How long have you been running the business?
August 5th, 21.
Okay. And I might have missed it, how large is your lot?
It's almost 1,700 square feet.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the home.
Yeah.
Almost an acre.
Oh, almost an acre, okay. I think that'd be all my questions.
Anybody else?
Okay.
Anything else for me?
Anybody else like to speak to this issue? Okay.
Hi,
I live at 1717 Southeast 16th. I am their next door neighbor. I have never hear the dogs. I never have any issues with any of the smells. Everybody dropping off and picking up do not affect me at all. So, I mean, it's, as their next door neighbor, they asked me before they did it. I've never had any issues. So it's not a problem for us at all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
My name is Mickey Fenner. I live 1708 Southeast 16th, right across the street. My bedroom window faces the Board of the Bone. I never hear any dogs. I don't smell anything. I've been over there before. The place is spotlessly clean. The traffic, I'm retired now, but the traffic is none from there. People will pull up. I'll be out in the front driveway, run in there, get their dog, bring in a leash, get back in the car and leave. Now, there's a man 2 doors down that has 2 big dogs. They bark all night long. They wake me up at 1, 2, and 3, and 4 o'clock in the morning, and I don't even know who I would call for that, the police or who. But as far as Board of the Bone, you don't hear anything, and Eli and Brittany are the greatest neighbors I've ever had.
Thank you so much.
That's all I had to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And if some others want to speak, if y'all just go ahead and make your way up here and be ready to go.
75, but I can hurry. I'm Judy Wesselhoff. I've lived in Moore since 95, and we have a dog that has been staying with Board to the Bone, and since he was about 2 months old, and now he's almost 3, Bravo, an Irish setter, and they take such good care of him. I really would hate to see this small business close down for some, whatever reason it is. I don't understand it all. But they take great care of him. They love all the dogs, and I never worry about him. If we were gone, like I was gone to Colorado last week, we have a Facebook page. We can see our dogs. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
I'm Emily Welch, and this is my mom, Kim. We live at 126 Briarwood. City Council members, for nearly 2 years, my dogs have been attending Board of the Bone with Brittany and Eli, and the care they've received has been nothing short of exceptional. When other facilities labeled my dog Blanco as vicious, Brittany and Eli welcomed him into their house with open arms, treating him as one of their own. They care for both of my dogs 6 days a week, always greeting us with bright smiles, even at 7 o'clock in the morning. Over this time, I've had the privilege of visiting their home almost daily, and it's clear my dogs love their time at daycare. Just saying Eli or Aunt Bee's name makes them light up with excitement. Their children have also embraced my dogs as part of the extended family, and Brittany and Eli have gone above and beyond to accommodate my schedule. They also allow me to drop my dogs off a couple of minutes before opening to allow me to get to school on time. Without Brittany and Eli, I wouldn't have anyone I trust to care for my dogs during their day. Shutting down their operation will not only impact my family, but many others who rely on their loving and reliable care.
We love those people.
Thank you.
My name is Cindy Riedel, and I do utilize Board to the Bone as well. I probably have the most sensitive sense of smell of anybody in this entire place. And the first thing I asked Eli when I visited the very first time with my very, very shy dog was, what about the smell? What do you guys do about the smell? And basically he said, sniff. And I did. There is absolutely no odor whatsoever. I don't know what magic that Brittany has. There is zero odor. There is zero noise. There are other options and more for people to take their dogs, and I've utilized them, and I would never take them to any place but Board to the Bone because I can completely trust them, but more importantly, it is a safe, clean, pristine, I've used the word pristine, environment, and I don't want her to come to my house and compare notes.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here that wants to speak to this in either way?
I have another question for either Elizabeth or Brian. So what part of the ordinance for the home business are they violating, technically? Or do we think they're?
Right, from what we can observe, they're not violating any of the listings in the home occupation ordinance.
So if they're not violating that, and they're not violating the 4 dogs, where's the violation?
Well, I think that we were erring on the side of caution because of the 4-dog limit.
Okay.
That has not really been brought up with the home occupation ordinance
Okay.
in the past. Go ahead.
Under the animal control ordinance, I believe there's discussion about having a kennel. There is the exception for the 4 animals if there is a kennel. So I think what she was saying is that in essence, she should not be restricted to the 4 animals because she is running a kennel as a home business, as a home occupation. I think that's probably the correct way of going about saying what is going on here. The violations under the home occupation would have to be like she has signs out front. There are things with the traffic, sound, smell, that sort of thing. I
Right.
believe that is what we do not have at this situation here.
Okay.
I have a question. So hypothetically, someone could open up a place and have 30 dogs there tomorrow under the same guideline, and there's nothing that can be done?
Well, that's not completely correct. If somebody has if I have a home business and I have 30 dogs and I have a neighbor that says,
Right.
they're barking, they're loud, then there would be a violation. They could come in and then they'd say, Brian, you have too many dogs for this.
Well, barking would be, just with one dog barking too long would be a violation of ordinance. I guess what I'm looking at is, the way it's presented to us is that they can only have 4 dogs and it's appealed to have more than that. And what I'm getting is nobody's real sure that maybe we need to table this and look further into it or something, because I'm confused, because when I first looked at it, I thought it needed to be in line with like the animal welfare, but what I've heard from staff that it doesn't, that you guys don't think it is a violation, then I guess I don't understand why it came to us, because Elizabeth issued the letter and said it was, and now it's not.
Because they were able to appeal it.
I know, but what I'm getting from the presentation from both of you is that you don't see a problem with it.
Well, and also, I believe that council is able to come up with certain requirements. If you think that there can be 6 dogs for a home occupation, doggy daycare, then that is something that we would be able to, like we do with the animal, what is it?
Grooming.
Grooming, the dog grooming. I think that there is a limit of what, 6?
2 because they go.
2 on top of the 4, yeah, so yes. So there is restrictions that we have on that. Same thing with a barber shop. If I wanted to cut hair, I believe that we're limited to the number of people that I can.
Well, I just think that we need clarity for if they're against it or for it and everything, so everybody's on the same page, because I'm still kind of confused about it, so.
Yeah, and so I'm sympathetic to the business who has lodged the complaint, because they had to pass, all things like that. But if they're not technically violating, and there's been no neighbor who has complained about smell, barking, whatever.
Well, I believe that they did have a complaint about.
But it wasn't.
Traffic.
In our minds, unfounded.
Right.
So
Okay,
I think,
okay.
Brian,
So a
what-
neighbor complained about traffic? Okay, so that's my,
Somebody- yeah.
yeah.
I think what I'm hearing is if we had a situation to where neighbors were complaining and there was odor, and we did observe that there was an influx of traffic that's inappropriate for the neighborhood, that would be in violation and we could act on it.
That
But in
would.
this case, we have not found any of those violations. So to me, it seems like a pretty clear, cut and dry.
That's correct. So in a
Scenario.
situation where there is too many dogs or too many cars, you could say, for this home occupation, you're going to be limited to X amount of dogs. That's
So like Councilman Porter's question, I think is relevant though. If someone were to put 30 dogs on a lot and they were to be a nuisance and there were to be odor, we could
Yes.
stop that. But in this one, since there is none of that and there is none of that proven or even observed, then we could accept the appeal and they could continue
That
business
is
as
correct. In the
usual.
event of the 30 dogs, if there is a neighbor that says the smell, then we would be able to say, look, you're in violation of the home occupation ordinance. They could appeal. It would come down here, and then we would decide then what we would do, either limit the number of dogs or actually not allow them to conduct the home occupation there.
So I think to me that answers my concern, and it answers my concern that I think was a good point Councilman Porter brought up, is if we run into an instance in the future where there becomes an issue, we can stop it. But here, since there is none,
Each
and
one is a
neighbors seem
case-by-case
acceptable.
basis. That
Okay.
is correct.
In last meeting, we approved to look at some ordinances, and was this part of it, the home-based business? Was that, it's not?
No.
Okay.
So if we were wanting to make a motion just to vote on the appeal, how do we, I haven't done one of these.
There's three different options. One, you would say they cannot run the home occupation at
Okay.
all. One, you can continue running it with certain exceptions, whether it be they have limited to the number of dogs or hours or whatever you believe to be appropriate. Or three, they would be able to continue on as they are.
My personal thought is they should continue on as they are. I mean, there seems to be no grievance from neighbors. We've invested city resources into researching this, and there appears to be no issue. And then in the future, if there is a problem, we have the ability to stop it in the event that someone does, have 30 animals that are causing a problem or something.
That is correct.
So I guess
If you want to make a motion?
I would make a motion that we grant the appeal. Is that correct, Brian, on that wording, or?
Yeah, you would sustain the appeal is what I would, is what I
Okay,
would do.
I would
And
grant a
then we
motion, we sustain the
To
appeal.
continue the,
To continue business as usual.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote, please?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
No.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item passes.
Thanks.
We'll move on to item 6. Consider declaring 22 bulletproof vests as surplus and authorizing their donation to the Oklahoma Association of Chiefs of Police.
The Mayor and Council, these 22 vests represent the annual replacement of vests that we do for officers every 5 years. These 22 vests would be donated to the Oklahoma Association of Chiefs of Police, who have a program that would absolve us from any liability and provide these vests to more rural and smaller agencies. Recommend approval.
Make a motion to approve?
Second?
And we've had a motion and a second, and every time this comes up, I just like to always emphasize, when I first started my law enforcement career, I don't know if I had one of these vests, but it was held together with duct tape. So and if I wouldn't have had that, I wouldn't have had anything. So I know that these vests can still save lives, and so I think it's great that we're able to help smaller communities that just don't have the money to spend $700 on a vest. So would you call the vote, please?
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes. Item 7 is consider the budgeted purchase of 11 handheld portable radios and associated licensing and accessories from L3 Harris in the amount of $36,768.56 using Sourcewell contract number 042021-L3H and SIT number 295766.
Mayor and Council, as stated, this is a budgeted purchase of radios that are just replacing end-of-life radios within our inventory for officers.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote?
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries. Item 8 is consider approval of a budgeted purchase of 2 treadmills, benches, and dumbbells from Core Health and Fitness as the lowest bid in the amount of $25,697.88.
Mayor and Council, this purchase will replace 2 used treadmills that are beyond repair, and this will place a set of dumbbells at each one of our fire stations.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
And I appreciate that we're able to continue to provide good physical fitness equipment for our firefighters all throughout the city.
Thank you for that.
Had a
Absolutely.
motion and a second. Would you call the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries. Item 9 is consider approval of a contract with Voss Electric Company doing business as Voss Lighting in the amount of $96,200, utilizing state contract number 0817L for LED lighting upgrades to the Moore Public Safety Center and tennis courts at Buck Thomas Park using Oklahoma Energy Efficiency Lighting Retrofit Program grant funds.
Mayor and council, the city was awarded grant funding through the Oklahoma Department of Commerce's Energy Efficiency Lighting Retrofit Program for the third year in a row. The city will upgrade the lighting at the Public Safety Center. That's all courts, dispatch, police, that's the entire building, and the tennis courts at Buck Thomas Park to LED. The contract amount is $96,200 for both locations, utilizing the state contract, and will be funded entirely with the grant funds. Recommend approval.
Great.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys looking for opportunities to fund different things throughout our city. That's great.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
We've had the motion and a second. Would you call the vote, please?
Sid Porter,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item carries. Item 10 is consider approval of an agreement in the amount of $126,632 with Medical Priority Consultants, Inc., doing business as Priority Dispatch Corp., for the implementation of the Emergency Police Dispatch Protocol System funded with 911 Management Authority grant funds.
Mayor and council, the city was awarded another grant from the Oklahoma 911 Management Authority for the implementation of the Emergency Police Dispatch Protocol System. We already use the protocol system for medical and fire calls, and implementing the police protocols would complete the protocol system set. The implementation and training will be funded with grant funding. Recommend approval, and Chief Gibson is here to answer any questions.
Could you just explain briefly a little bit of what this is?
Yes, Mayor. For several years now, we've been progressing down this direction. We started with emergency medical dispatch, which were protocols that prompt up on a dispatcher's computer. So when a 911 call comes in, they see what the call is, and it walks them step by step on facilitating questions, and based on those questions, responses. So what emergency medical dispatch has allowed us to do is now we're delivering babies, we're giving CPR, saving lives to that. Last year, we received a similar grant and worked with the fire department on emergency fire dispatching. And so now when a house fire comes in or some sort of vehicle or structure fire comes in, it prompts the dispatcher to ask the appropriate questions that reduces lag time in gathering information and gathers actionable information to dispatch fire units more quickly. Same with police and this new protocol system. It will help expedite training of new dispatchers, but also on shootings, stabbings, domestics, disturbances. It knows through science and studies and analytics what questions to ask for the most appropriate information to get out to officers that are responding to calls quickly. So instead of a dispatcher just asking a question that they think is relevant, they're going to ask a question that they know is relevant to the officer responding in the street. And so this will complete the series of the three. And so we'll be a complete protocol dispatch center. And I believe that we'll be the second or third in the state that have all three disciplines in the protocols.
Great.
That's money.
Thanks, Tom.
That's money
Yes,
well
thank you.
spent.
And the grants are funding this whole thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
That's great.
excellent. Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
We have had a motion and a second. You call the vote?
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries. Item 11 is consider adopting resolution number 10324, declaring support for the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority's OTA Access Oklahoma program to improve and construct turnpike facilities in the vicinity of the city of Moore, and committing to coordinating and partnering with the OTA to construct new turnpike facilities and new interchange along the turnpike corridor.
Mayor and council, as part of this project, our sewer line that runs from the wastewater treatment plant to the river will need to be relocated. This is approximately a $27 million project that the OTA has agreed to pay 100% for, along with other improvements. Recommend approval.
Make a motion to approve. Thank you,
Second.
Brooks.
Yes.
Okay,
That's great.
any other questions? Had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes. Item 12 is consider approval of an amendment to the underground vault and storage lease agreement, modifying the monthly lease rate from 29 cents per cubic foot per month to 31 cents effective January 1st, 2025.
Mayor and Council, in February 2023, you approved a contract with Underground Vaults and Storage for services related to the transport, inventory, and warehousing of files in their secured climate-controlled environment. At that time, we expected the annual cost of these services to be $6,090. For calendar year 2024, the actual cost was approximately $2,290, so we're already saving money. Underground Vaults and Storage is increasing their storage rates from 29 cents per cubic foot per month to 31 cents. The storage lease agreement addendum before you is effective January 1st, 2025, and will automatically renew annually unless there is an additional change in rates or either party gives notice of intent to cancel. I recommend approval and be glad to answer any questions you may have.
So how many cubic feet is our lease?
I can't do that math.
So you said
2290
in
divided by-
in 2024 or 2023, it was $2,000?
The 2,290 was for calendar year 2024.
2024, okay. All right, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have had a motion and a second. You can call the vote.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries.
Thanks for
Thank
finding
you.
the savings.
Thank you.
Item 13 is consider approval of a group annuity contract with Standard Insurance Company for the investment services in its Apex Guaranteed Fixed Interest Fund for the city's 457B Deferred Compensation Plan and the 401A Retirement Plan necessitated by the transfer of the plan to Voya Financial as approved by council on December 16, 2024.
So, Mayor and Council, the transition from Empower to Voya involves moving the fixed account, which is a capital preservation product that guarantees that the principal and credited interest for that guarantees principal and credited interest for eligible withdrawals and transfers by the people in the plan. Empower applies a market value adjustment fee when we change providers. To address this MVA fee, the group annuity contract with Standard Insurance Company will transfer the Empower fixed account to the SIC, Standard Insurance Company's Apex Guaranteed Fixed Interest Fund. SIC will pay the MVA fee upfront and recover the cost by reducing the fund's gross interest rate by 1.45% annually until it is fully repaid, but for no longer than 8.5 years. Once it's repaid, the gross rate will return to the prevailing rate, which is currently 5.15%. This change is projected to generate an additional $3,600 in annual interest for participants, which is a savings, of course, for the rest of us. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and Mr. Conkin is here as well.
Any questions?
That's great too. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Very
good stuff.
nice.
It's awesome.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second?
We have had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote?
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries. At this time, we're going to recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Item 14 is the consent docket.
I'm assuming we need to make an amendment to item 14B before we can vote on the consent docket.
Yes.
The motion would be to change the 157B deferred compensation plan to 457B deferred compensation plan. I make that motion.
Second.
I've had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote?
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Now I make a motion that we approve the consent docket, items A through D.
Second.
Will you call the vote?
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, consent docket carries. Item 15, consider approving an agreement with Dennis Bothell an independent contractor in the interim part-time Public Works Director services in the amount of $1,500 per week to support the city manager and the Public Works Department.
Mayor and council, Mr. Bothell has already been on a part-time contract with the city for 3 years now with consulting with fleet maintenance. He's come up with numerous suggestions to improve the efficiency of fleet maintenance. He has extensive experience with his career at the City of Lawton, their Public Works Department. And for this interim period of time, Mr. Eiler and myself feel like he would be a good person to be the interim director. Recommend approval.
Make a motion to approve?
Second?
And, yes, would you call the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries. Brooks, just a real quick question. Are you going to be getting the search for a new full-time person quick, or are you going to just pause for a little bit, or what is your thinking?
Well, we will begin that search quickly. So we'll post the position. Not sure how long it's going to take to find the right person for the job, but in the interim, we'd like to use Mr. Bothell.
All
So.
right. Great. Thank you. Item 16 is consider approval of an addendum to the Delta Dental Plan for the Oklahoma Administrative Service Agreement, modifying the administrative fee from $6.70 per subscriber per month to $7.90 effective January 1st, 2025.
Mayor and council, there's nothing to add to this. It's a simple addendum to our services agreement, and it's making that small change. We haven't had a change to this agreement in approximately 4 years.
Yeah. How many subscribers do we have?
Oh,
Ballpark.
400.
Okay, very good. Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
We've had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote, please?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries. We'll recess the Moore Public Works Authority meeting and convene the Moore Risk Management meeting. Would you, item 17 is the consent docket.
Make a motion, we approve the consent docket items A and B.
Second.
Would you call the vote, please?
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, consent docket carries. This time we'll recess the Moore Risk Management meeting and reconvene the City Council meeting. All members were present, are still present. Item 18 is new business, citizens forum. Items not on the agenda. Nobody signed up to speak. Is there anybody here that would like to speak? Items from City Council trustees.
I just kind of want to say thank you again to Sue and Chief Gibson and everybody just involved over all these holidays that we've had and the decorations put up and the events and handling all that. That was a lot of work. And throughout the last couple of months, I've had people, family and friends in and out of town, and they've complimented it. And so thank you guys for making it smooth and a festive season for everybody.
Definitely.
I would agree. It's
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work running the city, right?
Yeah.
It never ends. Always something. And is there any items from the city managers, trust manager?
Nothing at this time.
Item 19 will be adjournment.
So move.
Second.
We've had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote?
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Sid Porter.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Rob Clark.
Yes.
Yes. We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.